what is Lawyer Stories? What's the show about?
Yeah, no. So lawyer stories. So you go onto a law firm website, right? And everybody's got their biography about their credentials, their accolades, their resume, like where they went to law school, like what clubs they belong to, where they went to undergrad, moot court, law review, all that. That's tremendous. That's great. Everybody wants to see it. But what's missing is the human side of attorneys. So what I set out to do after my little journey to get to where I am right now, I said, if I sort of have a story, like everybody else must have a story. So I started an Instagram page where I said, I want to hear people's journeys, but I don't want to hear it coming from somebody else. I want to hear their narrative. So I started with like 4 or 5 people that I knew, 4 or 5 attorneys that I knew, and told them what I was looking to do. And then I figured out how to use Instagram. It's all organic growth. Everything's organic. Just figuring out how to, use Gary Vee's methods about how to, engage with people in similar fields that you're in, and try to get attention over to your page. And I did that to some degree. And so Lawyer Stories is all about people basically telling their path, their journey to the practice of law. We have a lot of stories about, immigrants who came over and now are attorneys. It's just remarkable things. People who, had to step back because maybe they committed a crime or they did something and they didn't think they'd be able to move forward from it. So it's basically humanizing the profession, and putting the lawyers out, and law students in a good light.
Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to ask you about that too, and first of all, it's always interesting when I do, because we do a lot of SEO work. When I go to a website and I see the bio, it's like, so there's no human element. It's like credentials, credentials, credentials.
Right.
So I love the story component to it, and I think people buy from humans, right? They want to know people that they like and trust, and so. And you kind of mentioned a few, but like, are there a couple memorable stories that just like hit you, that you just, when you think of Lawyer Stories, you think of maybe those examples?
Yeah, I mean, like it's a hard question. I do get asked it sometimes. I mean, all stories are really unique. I mean, I love the ones where people really just didn't come from much, and they had to hustle and do it on their own. There was a story, one of our first podcasts, about what a teacher telling this person that they couldn't do it, and they weren't cut out to be a lawyer, and then they come back and they're able to complete undergrad, go through law school, and become an attorney. There's just so many stories that and journeys about people becoming attorneys that I really can't highlight, 1 or 2 of them. And I actually have to go through the feed, and sometimes I'll just scroll the Instagram feed and say, wow, like I remember that person. What's this person up to? It's almost like I feel like I'm a part of people's lives for sharing their story. It's
Right.
really weird. And it's like this virtual world, like I sort of live in a little bit with this, but I go through the
Mhm.
feed and I'm like, wow, like, I remember this person. That was an incredible story. I really like enjoyed featuring them, so I kind of feel like I'm a part of the journey by helping everyone express in a humanized way, like what they've gone through to become an attorney.
It's so interesting. We spend all this time like prepping for our interviews, and we want to make sure they're
Yep.
good. And then like I can think of times like I had Kyle Backus on from Backus and Shanker, and then
Yep.
he'll hit me with a story, and it's like I'm doing everything I can not to drop some tears, and
Yeah.
like on the interview, because you get really like in it, like you become part of that story when they're telling it, and you can
Yep.
just feel it, and it's
Yeah.
um so you've really tapped into these, the human element and the attorneys' lives, so I guess, what makes a successful interview? What's one of the most, um, how do you have a good conversation and draw these amazing stories out of your guests?
Yeah. I mean, I just try to start, from the beginning. I like to say that the Lawyer Stories podcast is casual and comfortable in conversation. I'm not adversarial. There's enough of that out there. There's enough people, challenging other people's beliefs and being adversarial for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the profession itself can be adversarial. I mean, you're either tearing things apart or you're putting things together. I don't want to be that host. I want people to come into my show, be comfortable talking to me, be casual. If they want to bring a cocktail on with them, like I'm down with that. Like, and I asked them about, we start right from the beginning. Like, where are you from? Like, where are you born and raised? What was that like? Like, what was your family like a little bit? And I get people to open up a little bit. And I truly do appreciate and I genuinely have an interest in all of these stories. And so I just really want people to be comfortable. So, whoever's watching and listening can really see the attorney and how they are. I'm not trying to make them soft because I know clients don't want a soft attorney, but I want people to know that certain people out there, certain attorneys really have a good reason for wanting to be an advocate. So I really like to highlight things that the attorney wants to highlight. I want to make them shine, and it actually makes me feel good to make somebody else feel good. So I'm really into doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, and making them the hero and stand out.
Right.
I love those pull quotes, and when you get those little clips in the video that are really powerful out
Yeah.
of the long segment.